Hello and welcome to a Gooner Ramble. I'm your host James, and joining me are my two regulars. We've got the People's Champion Clive. Clive, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, just still wondering why I get called that, but I'll take it.
They love you, mate, they love you. And we've got the other People's Champion. Woz, how you doing?
I'm great, mate, but I'm not sure I'm anywhere near taking that title yet.
I don't know, there's been a few compliments towards you. You're doing alright.
Must have been a spell check, mate.
It's that offshore accounts, isn't it? You wrote them yourself, haven't you?
Yeah.
No, it's all good. Well, what a positive day yesterday. Well, we strolled in with pretty much confirmed 2 new players. Just the big I am didn't confirm until after, but, shows you, doesn't it, what a bit of positivity can do. We go out there and win 3-1. Brilliant. Loved it. But let's go, first of all, into the team. What did you make of the lineup? Was you were there? You obviously saw it announced on your phone or whatever. Were you a bit surprised at Xhaka and Cazorla and that being in together? Because there was some rumours he wasn't playing or wouldn't even make the squad, was there?
Yeah, there was rumours, mate. And as Clive and me have discussed many times, we have options, and it's nice that we do have options. And it could have been any one of 4 or 5 in there together yesterday, and at the end of the day, he went with them 2, and he had his reasons, and obviously, I'm not going to dismiss it without even seeing it, and I think it weren't too bad, was it?
And yourself, Clive, what did you make of the lineup when you saw it?
Yeah, I think, me and Woz had loads of discussions about this. the midfield too, and I'm really relaxed about it as long as Wenger rotates properly, and these 2, I never saw them as a partnership, 3 months ago. I just never thought those 2 would play. I thought it'd be either or and 2 of the other, someone else. But I quite liked it. I quite like what they do. They're both great footballers, and so when you see the 3 of them together, Xhaka, Cazorla, and Ozil, they're on the wavelength. They look like they are just at the same level, and they can move it. They move the ball, different levels, different ranges. They pop it short, they move off the spot. There's no one sort of dead-brained in there. Sometimes we have dead-brain moments, centre mid, and I saw a real nice collective. And when it's working well, much like Arsenal are a team of real beautiful flow. When they flow well, you just can't help but smile, right? And I thought they were great. Gave us a great base. There wasn't I think by picking them 2, Wenger was saying, well, I'm not going to get physically challenged in here. This is all about us getting the win, controlling the ball, controlling the direction. And maybe if I had to go into reverse a bit more, I might have chosen somebody else apart from Cazorla. But he's picking the right player for the right day, and fair play to him, give him some praise.
Yeah, I thought we started really well, and Xhaka especially, he was spraying that ball around beautifully. Like, quite from the start, I could see Watford, like the 3 at the back that they started with, they were like trying to smother Ozil as soon as he got the ball. So I think that sort of restricted his sort of play for a bit and allowed Xhaka to ping these balls about. And I'm like, some of the passing he was doing in the first, 8 to 9 minutes, I'm like, bloody hell. I thought he was a talent from the Euros. Watched him there, Didn't really watch him when he was at Mönchengladbach very much, but during the Euros and now I'm like, what a player we got here. Like, fair play. People saying to him, spend some effing money, and the money that he spent on him, well worth it. But I'm like, he's a tackler, but he's spraying the passes about. It was beautiful to watch.
He's got a few clubs in his club bag, and he's got a few clubs there. He can dink it. He can outside left foot. He can go left to right, which is going to play Theo in. He did one. I don't know what he did. Outside, was it inside or outside his left foot out to the left wing, and it just
wibbly wobbly.
I don't know what he did. Right, that was his. That was his Tiger Woods. That one. Yeah. He just went down there, and we're in. And what that does is when you've got that sort of range, if you're a centre back, you're thinking Arsenal going to play 5-a-side football. They're not going to turn us around. So we're going to press up, especially when it's Giroud. When you got something like that, it just goes ping, and you think, crikey, I'm running back towards my goal. Natural reaction is, next time, I'm going to give him a yard. Alexis comes off the centre-backs, turns around, we're rocking. We're five-a-side, touch, in down the sides, cross back, chances. So that little weapon he's got of just the variation, and then when they drop off, he fires it in hard to feet, really quick, bang through the lines. So when it arrives, Özil and Cazorla, and Sanchez, they've got an extra yard, and once they've got an extra yard, they get their heads up, we're off again, and our runners can run in behind. So he's very impressive footballer. Mm. I think he opens our team up a little bit tactically, with a skill set we haven't seen for many years, really.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were, when it was announced, they were saying a bit worried about the legs of it. But I thought they both played really well yesterday. But going in on 9 minutes, Alexis Sanchez is fouled, and was it as confusing at the game as it was watching at home? Because I was sat here and I was like, he's giving a fucking goal kick. What's he doing? And it seemed to go on forever. And then when it was a penalty, I was like, yeah, about bloody time, because not only is the foul clumsy and stupid, but he's pretty much WWE style clothesline the back of his head. Punched him in the head.
Well, it was straight. We were a long way away from the decision, obviously, but even from where we were, it looked like a stonewall penalty. It looked like he went for a ball that wasn't there to win, and Alexis is very good at using his body. He does have a good leap on him, but you wouldn't say he's a target man. But he gets his body in the right position, and Kabul. It was Kabul. Was it Kabul?
I think it was Amrabat. I think.
What was it? Oh my God, Amrabat. Yeah.
I think it was Amrabat. Yeah.
Amrabat. Yeah. Went straight through the back of him. And Clive, what you just said there about players dropping off into that hole and receiving possession. In the build up to that goal was fantastic. We got the ball out to Theo, and he spun his man, quick shift, got it to Bellerin, and then Özil just dropped off in the space, and he's brilliant at finding that space, and his delivery is absolutely fantastic. But if you look at Alexis's run, it's not as if he's playing centre forward. He's almost playing left wing there.
Left wing.
And it was an interesting way, and it's nice to see we got a different way of sort of approaching the game. And we did play a false nine, but a lot of Alexis's best work, I thought, in that game come from the left wing, which I think he is best anyway. But it was almost confusing for Watford, because they didn't really know who they were marking and what they were doing. And
it was. Sorry, mate. We were chatting, weren't we, about Alexis, and I said I'd like to see a bit more rotation. And when I watched the game again, they were doing quite a lot of rotation, and I was quite surprised to see how often Oxlade-Chamberlain was running down the centre of the pitch and centre forward. I didn't really see that first time round, so it was a good shout, mate. Yeah,
they did spend a lot of time switching over, and I think the confusion it brings to the defence is it's very, very tough. And I do think with this new lad coming in, Perez, it'll be interesting to see if he does play centre forward with that mobility, and Alexis is shifted out to the left. That it could be a front three that are going to cause havoc. And with the penalty, like we said, Özil's fantastic delivery again, wiped out, and you got the chance to go 1-0 up, and that's Mr. Dependable from the spot, really.
Yeah. I mean, we missed the last couple of few penalties, and I was a bit worried about who was going to take it, but then I'm like, Saula's the designated penalty taker, isn't he? I think he has been the last season or so, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So and it was a good penalty as well. I liked it, down the middle smash, no fannying about with a run up.
I think we all felt better seeing him step up rather than Theo.
Yeah.
It's almost indicative of getting more and more organised week on week. Right? The people are there. The more and more of the right players are on the pitch and in shape, doing the right things. And guess what? We look a bit better. It's very simple, really.
Yeah. And after that, again, we're creating all these chances, and you talk about Theo. I tweeted you guys yesterday. I think you both got a laugh out of it. I thought yesterday. I mean, I was listening to the one of the midweek podcasts you guys did. I think, Clive, you were saying about you were at the training ground and you've seen Theo Walcott and you've seen that he's a specimen and everything, and that he needs to use it more. I thought yesterday he was incredible. He was dashing these people about like they were nothing. Yeah. I was so impressed with him yesterday. I'm like, if he played like that every week, he'd be praised to the hills.
Watts is obviously a huge fan of Theo, and I tend to just say as I see it, right? But I look at him, and I have seen a lot of the players right, up close, but when you look at him, he looks different to the rest of them. I mean, he really is unbelievably, like, fit and well muscled, and he's just got no body fat at all. And he is a specimen, and he's been, let's be honest, he's been quite passive for many, many games. But he's not been passive this year, and I think fans will always give someone a break if they're working hard. The numbers of sprints he's making off the ball, we spotted it last week, and we spoke about it. And I felt they didn't use him enough. And I felt yesterday they used him a little bit more because, again, we had more people. Santi was in a better position, a little bit deeper. Santi was in our top 4 passing combinations in the game. And he was moving the ball, and we were picking Theo out, and his runs were regular. He must be a nightmare to mark, right? Because he takes it from one run, and you feel, okay. Then he takes it for another run, and he's just as quick. He takes it for another run, it goes another direction. And if you're a fullback, you're thinking, will you just stand still for a minute? Right? But it's even worse if the other team's ignoring you, you're thinking, thank goodness I'm not getting embarrassed. But if we start to play him in, then you've got real problems. And I think we're starting to trust him a bit more as a team. And he's getting more of the ball. And we're not talking about 10-touch Theo no more. His take-ons, the way he's receiving the ball off the back foot and moving off the spot really quickly, touch, off the spot, that's confidence, right? When he's not confident, it's touch, head down, try to wait for contact, doesn't come, go backwards, knock off to the fullback, jog off to where he can be marked, can't receive it. And that's what the fans have been seeing from the end of last season. But this season, on the right, here before Was says something, on the right, he's been a different class so far. I hope it continues.
Just jump on that.
Do you think it's a case of the last chance saloon, maybe, or is it? Because for me, it looked like he's had a bit of a kick up the arse. I don't know.
Well,
he looks a lot more motivated.
What you do, you just hope people react, and he's reacted. I don't care what it is to. You just hope they react, and I think the summer hurt him actually. The England mission, I think it really hurt him. I think he just thought he was going. He had his suit measured. I thought he was going, and I think he's, rather than sit at home, we went out, did extra training, and he's got himself fit. He's one of our fitter players, and he's reacting. That's all you want. So I'll let Was come in now.
I just want to touch on the points you made about his movement, and he's always got an explosive burst in behind. But what people often don't appreciate is his intelligence on the pitch, and he finds these areas. And he's always keeping his fullback guessing. And I used to play fullback, and you could deal with people that run at you all the time. And some are very skillful, and sometimes they beat you. But it's when they're making the runs off the ball and the movement. And if Theo comes short, do you get tight? Because if you get tight, he's going to spin you, like he did for the first goal. He spun the defender, he's out of the game, like he did against City. Spun him, gone. Then if you drop off 10 yards, your back four's dropping deeper. It creates more space for everyone else. It could be an absolute nightmare to play against someone who mixes it up and starts using an intelligence. And his delivery for the second goal, which I'm sure we're just about to go on to, what I liked most about that is, again, his retention of width. I mean, Xhaka finds a great pass into Alexis. He drifted inside, and then we're making movements, we're doing things, we're creating things. Just Alexis again cutting in into Meza, onto Bellerin. Walcott's just hugging that touchline. All the space in the world. I mean, does the fullback get tight to him? What does he do? On this occasion, he doesn't. Bellerin with the overload helps. And another thing that I noticed, they're working as a pair. We haven't had that for a long time. On both wings, we had combination play. We had Monreal, and if it was Sanchez over there, or Monreal and Bellerin, Monreal and Oxlade. And then on the right, we saw a lot between Bellerin and Walcott working as a team.
Well, so did you notice how Bellerin was underlapping?
Underlapping, not overlapping.
He was driving inverted style inward and being the link, which means the fullback has got to decide, well, do I go and track Bellerin because he can run beyond me, or do I track Theo? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go halfway house. That's all you need, isn't it?
Yep, and then there's a yard of space. Yard of space Theo's got, opens himself out, whips a delightful ball in, and it took me about 30 seconds to realise it was in the net. I couldn't work out. See, we ain't got the old watch that comes up goal in the stand, so didn't know whether to celebrate or what. But
it was a really scuffy finish as well. I thought it was a really good finish, and
I thought it was clever. I thought it was clever. And I'll tell you now, to me, he meant that finish because everyone was rushing. He just slowed the ball down and put it back where it's come from. The fact it dropped in, he may not have met that first time, but I thought it was a smart move. Everyone was dashing towards the near post to block it, and he just took it back across the goal and it spun in. I think it was really clever.
Yeah, I mean, I was in heaven from about the 30th minute onwards to half time, and about 10 minutes after half time, I was literally in heaven. It was everything I wanted to see from Arsenal. We were retaining width, we were moving the ball quickly through the lines, we had Xhaka. Every time they tried to come forward, we just deal with it. We had Bellerin working with Walcott. It was just perfection. We just looked so good. I haven't seen Arsenal play like that for a long time. I was just so excited. And if we can keep that level of play up, and the funny thing is, we was doing all that without a number 9. And I actually felt that on a lot of occasions, if Giroud was in there, he could have scored 5. He literally could have, like the way we was playing. And it's just great to see us play like that again, with the exciting play, the width. And I was just stood there in the stand thinking, blimey, it's been a long time since I've seen this. And when Xhaka pinged that long ball over the top to Theo, and he hit it just on the half volley. Great save, I think. I ain't seen it back, but I seemed to think it was going across the keeper. And he got down, saved it. I was thinking, oh, this could be any score. It's really good.
You didn't quite catch it, but that Xhaka stock pass, that left to right,
Oh.
and with Theo Walcott, who's basically a running winger, I mean, that link could be really interesting, right? So, because Theo will make that run 10 times a game, right? And if he finds him 3 times, we're scoring 1 or 2. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
it's exciting thinking about him with that Perez as well. You know, I've done my YouTube scouting, and he does like, you know, they have made that Vardy comparison. He does sort of like to come in. So if we can ping that long one, if Xhaka pings the long ones through, and he does these bending little curvy runs, I think we're on for some money there.
he looks good on. I mean, people laugh when you say, "Oh, I've looked on YouTube," but I actually do think you can see stuff on YouTube. You can see what somebody is, what their profile of player is. Maybe you can't see what they don't do so well.
Yeah.
But you can sort of see, okay, I can see why maybe they bought him. I can see why maybe he's a problem. I can see what he does well. And then you think back to what's in the team, much like you just said, James. Okay, he sits on the last man. He's got an interesting running style. He's got a pitter-patter step running style.
Yeah.
When you have those, if you ever watch Oxlade-Chamberlain running with the ball, just before he's about to beat his man, he shortens his stride. He shortens it, and what that does in your defender, you look down, you see these busy feet, and you've got decisions to make. When you see busy feet, you normally fix your body to try to show him down one side. If someone can shake and bake you, you're flat-footed. He's got a very fast cadence, a very high intensity. He's been known to sort of close men down and really be intense off the ball. And Arsenal we're quite a languid, technical team, apart from Theo, actually, that really drives and maybe a bit of Alexis, who's quite intense. But the rest of our team is quite languid, quite technical, quite smooth in its movement. To have a busy, hard-working, fiery type player, it just adds another option and adds another bit of identity to us. And I think it's what Wenger wanted to do with Vardy. He wanted someone a bit different to what we already have, with a different sort of profile. And I'm really interested to see this Perez and see what he's like and see how he gets used. It's going to be, it's going to be quite exciting.
Yeah. But moving on, 46th minute, Ozil, what a bloody header. And the cross from Sanchez as well. You talk about the Theo cross, and it was a lovely, lovely ball in, but I watched the goal back a few times, and I'm like, the run, he's busted a goal on the run, and then the leap is quality. I'm like, that's a bloody brilliant header. And I remember, was it the other year, was it against Liverpool or something, he sort of had a similar type of header? I was just like, it's carbon copy again. I'm like, what a... You forget that, like, he's not the biggest of chaps, but he leaped up there like the old, salmon, as they say, and just dashed it in.
That whole goal I found so interesting because it started early in the move again with our man Xhaka. He went for a long ball and Ox run down his fullback. It weren't on the money, but he battled, got the ball back, and Alexis was basically we had 2 left wingers at once, and he took on the possession, and then they've got a problem again. So there's no number 9 to mark, and you're looking at the centre forward out on the left wing with the left winger stood next to him, and Mesut is the kind of player that is intelligent enough to find them spaces, and he saw that coming long before. And Sanchez is a world-class footballer, and they're going to be on a level, and he's put it on the money. And like you said, JJ, what a header! Fantastic header, and
better than some strikers I've seen. It's
exactly. But you asked the question. I mean, Wenger come out and said he's pleased for Ozil because he wants to see him score more goals. I think he was playing a bit of a different role. I think with no number 9, Alexis was sort of given the freedom of the pitch. He was coming very deep at times, almost bypassing Cazorla sometimes to get the ball. And Ozil was just he was playing a bit higher up the pitch, and Xhaka was sort of distributing through the lines, and Cazorla and Sanchez were moving things. And I thought it was an interesting way of playing. And again, the retention of width there from Ox, done well with the overlap and what a go. It just really pleased me. And that was part of the spell that we was on fire and I was having the time of my life.
Yeah. Clive, do you want to reminisce for the old goal?
No, I like them goals. When they're the best goals, when they're really simple. And it looked like get it out to left wing, it's one runner, you dink it in, and it's a goal. And the simplicity of it sort of surprises you. But they're sort of like the best goals, right? When someone does exactly what they should do. The time of the run was great. Well, I've looked at Ozil in the summer for playing for Germany. I thought he was taking on a lot more sort of responsibility for Germany. He was really trying to lead them. He's been a talented player, but there's been other leaders like Schweinsteiger in the team and been taking and Cruz and Müller have been taking real big leadership roles. And I saw a lot more sort of physical leadership from him. He's quite, he's learned from England. He's getting stronger. I think he's getting stronger. I think he's getting quicker. He looks taller to me. I don't know why, if it's with my own mind. He just looks better on the pitch. He doesn't look so timid. And I thought the best thing about that goal was not the execution, because we expect it from him, but the fact he took the responsibility on to make that run. He ran into an area with a couple of centre halves. He said, "I'm going to make that run, and I'm going to finish it." And when you are our star player, with that sort of responsibility that I want to see him take a little bit more to lead us offensively, not just with assists, but to say, "I'm going to take charge of this moment and I'm going to put it in the back of the net." And if he adds 10 goals to his to his season, then there is just from my point of view, totally biased. They're just not a better player in the league. The only player that gets close to him, in my opinion, is probably Hazard. It's the only one, and they're the two best talents.
Yeah, I agree. Was there anything else you lads want to talk about in the first half, or?
No, just with Ozil. Funny enough, that was literally almost the last kick of the half, and it was one of the loudest songs I've heard in a way and for a long time at the Arsenal, singing Ozil's name. And the bloke, he could not stop smiling. You could see he was putting his thumb up. Then the game kicked off again, and the half time went, he's putting his thumb up again, and he's getting off the pitch, clapping, looking over, putting his thumb up, like he knew, he could hear, like. And right from the start of the game, I think Ozil feels very, very loved at Arsenal, and he is. He's massively loved. But I just hope we can, like we've discussed many times, that we can keep him at the club. And I think he wants to stay, but I think he also is a winner, and I think he wants to. I think he likes to feel loved, Mesut. I get that impression of him.
I think Jose said that about him years ago. I remember him saying it, and whenever he does the interviews and stuff, he does come across as really, shy, quite a shy guy, and they always, him and Mertesacker always putting his arm around him and geeing him up a bit. I think Mustafi's going to be a great addition in that aspect as well. He's got another one of his mates with him type thing.
Yeah. Well, like Clive said, I think he's developed not just physically, because he has developed physically. He looks, like he said, a bigger man. I think he's developed mentally more than anything in the Premier League. And he's gone on to another level now. And if you saw him go back to Spain, I think he'd be even better than he was the previous time he was there. And to appreciate the intensity of the Premier League and the way he plays the game, he makes 100-mile-an-hour pitches stop dead. And he's just incredible. I love him.
Yeah.
So true. Going into the second half, and this is where I got a bit wound up, because I thought first half is everything you want to see in Arsenal, like the joy, everything, which is beautiful football. And then the second half, just it all sort of, peeled out for me. I just remember, I was thinking to myself, we'd go out there, and let's 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know, let's just cut the throats, let's do them. And we just sort of seemed content in a way. We did make some chances and everything else, but we got to the 57th minute and that, they make it 3-1. And I'm sort of thinking to myself, oh no, not a Newcastle or something, please, what was the vibe like in the ground for that was it?
It's always a worry with the Arsenal, isn't it? Because even now, but I just felt like you, I sort of thought, not necessarily have to be at half time, but early in the second half we would come out and I thought the Ox was tiring quite a lot on the left.
Yeah.
And I think he worked very hard in the first half. And I was just looking at it thinking, just get Giroud on now, push Sanchez wide left, and this game will be 5 or 6-0 before you know it. And we did create, Bellerin got to the byline at one stage, absolutely rinsed his fullback, cut it across, and Giroud would have been there. Like, it's easy to say that, but he would have been. He would have been there knocking it in. And I think we created a few chances. In the first 10, we were right, like you're saying, just before they scored. And then once the goal went in, it really started to sort of sour up a bit, and we looked more tired, less confident, and you just wanted to see someone take it by the scruff of the neck. And I think Koscielny's been a great leader in the past few games, and I think Wenger also panicked a bit, and he made a few tactical changes that I was pretty miffed with, to be honest with you. And with regards to the goal itself, talking about Ox tiring, if you watch it back, Monreal he's left 3 on 1. He's left 3 on 1, and that didn't happen in the first half. We were high intensity, we were switched on our game, and I don't know how it was 3 on 1, but Monreal couldn't approach the ball, so he had to drop off and crossed in, and then it was just like a pinball machine, wasn't it? I can't even describe what happened, to be honest with you, mate. 1 minute I saw a cross cleared, and then the next minute it was in the top corner. But,
no, I was just really disappointed because, like you said, Koscielny yesterday, I'm watching it from home, so it's a bit different. But I would have loved to have been there just to watch how he was the whole game with Holding, because from the bits that you saw on the television and everything else, he's talking to him and he's making sure he's like, right, are you all right? He just completely. I don't want to use the word chaperone, but I can't really think of anything else better really to describe it. He was just so good with him.
It's constant, mate. It's constant. And you find that with the better players, not just with Kos, like with players, people like Ozil's ability, he can see things and he talks to people during the game, and a lot of times you don't see that. But you often find Mesut sort of giving a word, and people like that, and Kos was fantastic, and Granit Xhaka is very, very vocal and he's very forward and lively. And it was good to see, and a lot of the players, they seem a bit more fired up this season. A lot of the time, we talked the other week about Theo giving people a rollicking. He was getting the ump again. There was a few times when he got moved to the left and Sanchez could have played him in and things like that. He was getting the ump. It's nice to see again, players caring, but we did drop off quite a bit, and we waited again till 70 minutes to make the subs. And when they did, we looked quite tired. I thought we was on the ropes a bit. If they'd got another, really, really thought we would have been in trouble. And when them subs come, I was quite surprised with what he'd done, but it was almost, I don't know if you want me to explain what I think about it yet, but
yeah, I'll let Clive jump in. I'll jump in on their goal, Clive, first, and then we can talk about
the goal was a bit unlucky. I think if I'm looking at this a little bit differently, I think after half time we were rubbish against Liverpool. We walked out and we had nothing in our legs, we had nothing in our brains. And we did something similar here as well. We thought, okay, we were 3-0 up. We probably thought the game was won. And Arsenal will play a bit more economical, and they will go to the counter-attack. And there were options on the counter-attack to score. We had 2 or 3 chips, which I'm sure we'll discuss, that if they've gone in, we're talking 6-1, right? But we didn't execute. So the game plan was working, but we didn't finish it off. It's funny enough, I've been watching a few other teams as well, and Liverpool played quite similar to how we played yesterday. They didn't have Ozil in their team, but they had Coutinho for them. And what they do is that they play 3 up and they play narrow and they flood the box and they flood inside the fullbacks. But what they do later on, when they're tiring, they bring on Origi and he gives them a little bit of structure and they go a bit straighter. and they put a bit more pressure onto the centre backs, and they almost played two different styles. And was sort of alluded on here, I think, as we tired, that's where you need to see your pillar up front. That's when maybe you haven't got the technique and the fatigue to have all the fluidity. But you know what? I can find Giroud. I know where he's going to be. I know he's going to make near post runs. I know he's going to boss his centre half off. So when I'm a little bit tired, I need to retain possession. I need to control the referee, control the tempo. We should be thinking about him in away games, bringing him on at that sort of 65-minute point to give us a structure later on, to give another problem. And I think Giroud's a great player at home. I think that's an error, right? But we're developing styles, so we have to just take it. And Watford, they had more shots than us compared to what we had, and it was a bit worrying. I thought the goal, funny enough, Xhaka was about to clear it. It hit Santi unluckily. He went back in. Xhaka was about to clear it, and the guy stepped into his space. And really, that's almost like a foul, but he couldn't kick through him because he would have fouled him. And in a split second, he's whipped in the corner. Unlucky, but they probably deserved a goal for the pressure they were building, and they got a goal and they got a little bit of momentum. But the way Arsenal played, not just against Watford, but when they go 2-3 up, as fans, we're thinking, all right, go and put 6 past them. As footballers that have got an international game 4 days later, or whenever it is, or a week later, or a Champions League game, the first thing they do is look after their legs, and they consolidate and they become more economical and they try and play on the counter. And it's quite frustrating. I mean, you think back to Man United at home last year, 19 minutes of bliss. Then we had about 60 minutes of, can we keep them out, right? And it's like it's the best we've ever seen. Yeah. But the players naturally step in, sit in for when they got the goals, they try to do the counter-attack. And if it goes in, it's a 4-5-0. If it doesn't, it can be a 3-1, 3-2 and a bit airy. So
I thought he looked good, quite good, that lad that they, the one that they sold from the Juventus, that Pereira who scored. I think he looked really good when he come on. It was quite a danger, but was going into the subs on the 69th. Ozil was off for Jack, and Ox was off for El Neni. And like you said, for me, Ox, I was just like, after that chip, mate, go, good to go. I ain't seen chips that bad since Burger Night and Weatherspoons. It was awful.
I think he was physically tired, mate. I really do. I think his brain had gone. There was a point before he got subbed off. Actually, he was sprinting down the left wing, and he just. His legs weren't working, and he was trying to do something, and he ended up like the whole stadium was like laughing at him because he done some silly. He fell over, tried to do some turn, and he tried to get it back, and he just weren't there. And I thought he had gone a long time before a lot of the other players physically, and I just felt that change should have come earlier. But when the changes did come, Jack on the right wing, he put Walcott left again. It was like watching last season, and the game. I understand we're seeing the game out, and I think a lot of people. We do panic when we're even 3-0 up away at Watford because we've seen us capitulate so many times in the recent past, and it'd be nice just to go on and win a game. But I mean, if these things hadn't happened in previous years, I think I wouldn't be talking like this. And I suppose it's me being a bit silly about the situation, I suppose, because I can see he's brought Jack on to shore it up and make sure nothing happens on the right wing. But it's part of me that wants to go for the jugular, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, and I was just a bit surprised. I mean, El Nene come on and kept things ticking over, and he's a good player to bring into the game if you want to calm things down and retain possession. And it just sort of petered out, but it was so exciting. And like Clive said, we did create a few chances on the counter. I just think I got worried because I mean, Czech made a big double save in there, didn't he? And we had moments, we had big moments.
Thank God he was there because he like you said, it was a brilliant double save. But just going on to El Neni quick, at that moment with Wilshere, I thought, God, Wilshere's going to kill you. Like, he wanted that ball early, didn't he? And then when he played it, like, at the back of his heels, didn't it? And Jack, like, straight away turned around. And, we don't need the lip reading. We all clearly said, but I'm like, he's going to have you when we go win it.
Frustration, isn't it? It was a very good opportunity. And, like, I mean,
but big levels. Like, I know Walcott got a bit angry at Sanchez and other Ox and all that, but he was really like,
do you think
fuming, like big time.
Do you think he's very, very eager to impress? I mean, he's been left out of the England squad.
Yeah,
he's another one who's constantly struck down by injuries, and he's got a fight on his hands. There's a lot of good players at this football club, and Jack is a player that is, we all know, is extremely quality, and he's got lots of great talent, but is he going to show it? And is he going to get the chance to show it now? And he must be thinking deep down, bloody hell, I've got to butt my ideas up now because this team's good. But I've got to be good to get in this team. And when he does get his chance, he wants to take it. So
yeah, I was really pleased. I was really pleased to see that. Right, so that's like the rules of the dressing room. So like, honestly, when you're doing your 8v8s and you're playing, and you know who you're competing against, and when they don't give you the ball, you let them have it, hoping the coaches are going to see it. Right, that's just building the pecking order, letting them know that I'm the man. And but you know what? Football's about what you do, and what's changing is that we can all go straight to an app on our iPhones and see exactly how many touches, how many passing combinations, how many tackles, how many meters run. There's no hiding place now. Within 5 minutes after the game, you get an email straight to your phone, tell you what you've done. And if you don't do it, we all know. We all know, the coaches know, the players know. I think it's really good that we're taking away some of the pedestals from some of these players and saying to them, you have to play. And if you play, good things are going to happen. And if you don't play, you're going to have to play to change my mind. So you can play. And that's it. And Jack's got it all on. He could be 5th, 6th choice centre midfield in a moment, depending on who you like and who your favourites are. And there are youngsters snapping around in the background as well, waiting to come through. So he has to do it. Right? He's got number 10 on his back. He's an Arsenal kid from 7 years of age. I don't care, mate. You got to play. You got to play. When you get a chance in the last third, you have to make the pass count. When you have a chance to shoot on goal, it has to be on target. It has to go in. You change people's opinions by what you do. And I'm glad to see it. I'm really excited to see it because too many times at Arsenal, and not just us, there's some comfortable players. But you know what? What really bothers me is the sort of the British players that get protected by the quota. They don't have to produce. And what we're talking about today, we talk about Theo just woken up and starting to produce. You know, Oxlade-Chamberlain had a bit of a struggle. I think he struggles anaerobically late in games. I've never seen him play a good 90 minutes, although I really admire his talent. But we're starting to see some of the, you know, in holding some of the British players producing, right? Because they have to produce, otherwise they will not play at a top level club.
Gibbs coming on.
I thought he was smooth. I thought he was smooth.
I liked him a lot.
And if we're honest, let's just sit here and think this through, right? Monreal, I'm a fan, but he got rinsed by Mane in the first game, right? 1-on-1 yesterday, he had a cup, he got a bit tight, got spun round. I'm not saying he got kicked, he came off. I'm not saying throw him to the curb, but Gibbs just kept his head down, never said a word, just worked and worked and worked and worked. Hasn't said I want to go anywhere, hasn't moaned, but every time he's come on, he's given it his all. And you know what, I would, you know, secretly at the bit of me saying, just keep going, mate, keep going. You're 26, your life's not over at 26, right? I hope he can get back to some high levels because in this formation with a strong centre mid that we're developing, we maybe want someone like Gibbs to be, you know, quite leggy. That option is great. And, so I'm hopeful that he can push Monreal and, you know, push him hard. Right? That's what we want, isn't it? That's what we want.
I mean, people know my opinion about Gibbs anyway. And last year, I thought when he was further forward, I thought he looked brilliant. But yesterday, when he came on at left back, I was impressed as well. And I'm like you said, Clive, he's sat and bided his time. I don't know how bad this Monreal injury is. Just touching on it though, what did you guys make?
Not bad. It's not bad at all. It's
major. But what did you make of the Deeney thing? Because a lot of people were saying that's a red card. It just sort of looked to me like he just booted him up the arse. Like he didn't kick his legs away. He just looked like he just punted him up the bum, pretty much.
No, I didn't see it that way.
I didn't see it. I ain't even watched it back, mate. I ain't seen it.
It was so weird. I was just proper like.
He booted Monreal up the bum?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm like, there was no attempt for the ball there or anything. And I was just like, he's off, because he was on a booking already. Yeah. And they said, before he got booked in the second half anyway, they said at half time, he was called into the referee's room because he was kicking off about, I think he was like dissenting towards the ref at half time, and he called him in the room and said, like, look, I know all these new dissent rules are in, and he's like, if you carry on, I will book you, so wind it down and everything else like that. But, I was just like, proper weirded out, but I was like, surely that's the second booking because it's no attempt to win the ball. He's like just booted you up the arse, pretty much. Weird.
Didn't see that weird, to be honest. I'm still thinking about Gibbs.
Yeah.
Thinking about him. No, it's interesting, like the Gibbs Monreal conundrum. It's now you've got me thinking about it. And what does Monreal do? And what I think he does really well over Gibbs is the timing, is how he joins the attack. His triggers, how he sees triggers is really, really good. And when he gets in that last third, I just trust his ball a little bit better. Defensively, he tends to read the game a bit more in the air, but he can get too tight. He can get turned. And it's quite interesting how Liverpool really targeted him pace-wise. You know, and it's one to watch, really. I don't say he's had a rough time, but he's a great player and he's always available. But Gibbs is definitely closing that gap, in my opinion.
I hope he gets a chance because, I thought he did look good in that 15, 16 minutes that he was on for. But other than that, we saw it out. First 3 points of the season. Happy days. Was there anything else you guys wanted to touch on?
Like Mesut said,
in terms of the game,
the ice is broken. That was his analogy. And let's go onwards and upwards because it's a big 3 points. Let's get off the mark. So we've had a tough game away at the champions. Liverpool at home was a shambles, but we've got to move on from that. So looking at that now, you got 4 out of a possible 9. Really, you'd have been hoping for 7, but other teams are going to drop points, and it is going to happen. And a lot of teams I don't think no one's really started like a house on fire, but some teams are getting results. But it's a long, long season, and when we come back, it's Man United, Man City, and one of them 2 teams going to drop points, and we could be right back with them. So it's not. It's very early, and the signs of the squad for me is very, very promising, and it's going to be great to see how Mustafi and Perez settle in. And we never know, we might get another one, but you just look at the depth, and it's something Arsenal often criticised for, not having good squad depth. But now, I mean, previous seasons, I thought we've had it, but we haven't necessarily had the luck with injuries and things. Now, if we're getting injuries, I'm not overly concerned. Providing, obviously, Olivier Giroud, if he gets injured, we are in a bit of trouble because he's the only option like that. But with Perez coming in, it gives us something different, and maybe at right back. But that aside, I mean, I've got faith in Ospina if he has to come in. I look at the centre backs. I look at the competition at left back, and now we're not just talking about players backing players up. We're talking about competition here. We're talking about, are you good enough? If you're not, you're out. And I think that's where Wenger's really got to earn his money this season, and that's my one worry with him ongoing with the season. Can he manage the squad correctly, and will he be ruthless enough, because he's very loyal to his players, will he be ruthless enough to say, you've had a bad game or a bad couple of games, it's not your time?
You know what I thought was really encouraging yesterday, because Coquelin had a really decent game at Leicester, right? And the first game, none of them were that great. But Leicester, I thought he did really, really well. And yesterday, he wasn't playing. And there was lots of camera shots of him just smiling on the bench. Yeah. I'm thinking, that's really good. You've had a great game. You've done your bit for a away day at Leicester, and they got quite a combative midfield. But against Watford, when maybe the quality of midfield player isn't as high, and we want to control the game, we want to score more goals, we went to another option. And he was fine with it. If anything, I was really impressed with Jack at Leicester. I don't know how you felt, but I was a bit disappointed in Jack yesterday. I thought he should have continued that in a really positive way. And I thought he'd come on in a spiteful way, picked up a couple of fouls, got booking, had a tear up with El Neni. Hey, I may be looking a little bit too deep, right? Because he might be frustrated, but he might want to come on sooner. You know how footballers are, right? But,
I think he wanted to be CM, Clive. I think he wanted to play in the middle of the park, mate. And I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think he likes playing right wing, and obviously he'll do it. But I think part of that is a bit of frustration in there, thinking, bloody hell, like, if I'm not coming on in games at central midfield, I'm not starting games central midfield, like, I've got to work hard. And maybe his frustration just got ahead of him, and he was trying too hard on the right wing, if you know what I mean. Maybe it's that, if I'm being honest.
Maybe it's that. And we're sort of, I'm being a bit easy on the Ox, and I do have an issue with his fitness. But he's playing on the left, and that's not his position. He worked hard till he dropped, he came off, and he was part of a victory. We should be happy with that. And Jack's got it all on. He's got it all on. I was watching the Sunday Supplement this morning. I don't know if you saw it. And Jeremy Wilson was talking about Jack, and he said, what would Arsenal do if they got a large bid for him? I thought, that's an interesting comment. Right? What would we do if someone said we're going to give you 35 million for Jack Wilshere? Right, because he's probably fifth, sixth choice, right, at the moment, and we all know his talent can make him first choice really easy. But when was the last time we saw that? Right, so again, that's what people do. They pick off your assets like that who are not playing. I don't think Arsenal are going to do it, but it's quite interesting. The point he made was, do we want more of our players to go and seek the opportunity to play? If Jack's going to be fifth, sixth choices, he's not getting picked for England, etc., what's he going to do? And I sort of admire Joel Campbell for saying, I want to play. I'm not going to play enough here. I want to go and play. I know the boss likes me. I love the club. It's a lovely city, but I want to play. And he's only off his got a sport in Lisbon. And I think more of our British players need to say, I might be getting 100 grand a week. I might be wearing Arsenal's number 10 shirt, but am I playing enough? And ask themselves that question. Am I educating myself enough? Am I getting enough football to really develop myself? And I think not just Jack, but a lot of British players who are not playing in the first teams need to ask themselves that question.
100% agree there, yeah.
I get a bit JJ sometimes. Just ignore me, mate.
No, I totally agree with you. It does make you think, because it's like, we've spent a lot. Do we want to retain a bit back?
Yep.
You just think, out of the ones that you're looking at, like you said, he's in his peak sort of earning years. He's not getting to the game time. It's weird, and I've still got. I don't know why. I'm not getting in the old slug, madness bollocks. But I still think there's going to be something there. I don't know who. I don't know what position. I don't know who he is. But I still think there's going to be something there, and you'll congregate on Thursday for your midweek, and you'll be like, who's that? How have we managed this?
Yeah, things change really quickly in football. I'm not talking about Jack, by the way, but once we start playing that EFL Cup and Champions League, and we're playing every 3 days, and someone pulls a hamstring, I'll be clapping Jack Wilshere onto the pitch. Do you know what I mean? Saying, come on, Jack, get in there, mate. And that's how it can change really quickly. He gets in, doesn't come out, and all our thoughts are gone about what we think is our ideal team. I mean, who would have thought that Iwobi would have played so many games last year? Who'd have thought Flamley would have played so many games last year on a separate subject? Right, so things can change really quickly. So just let's wait and see, I suppose.
I mean, you're looking at it, and he's probably going to let Debuchy go. But then if he does, and there's these Chambers rumours as well. I'm like, you're going to be short of right. Are you going to get a right back in, or are you going to risk it? Like,
I read something.
He can play there.
Sorry, JJ. I read something today to say that they were going to let Debuchy go, but he's got an injury or something. So that means whoever's going to take him has got to take a gamble on the medical, and then take him, and he'll recover in a few weeks. So that means he could stay till January. So we may have the cover. I see that Jenkinson's out running again, and he's a player that we forget real quick. And then before you know it, November, December, Danny Welbeck will be out running again. Another player we've forgotten really quickly. Right, so this squad is huge, and it's going to have huge competition. And likewise, I'm a little bit concerned about him picking the right team at the right moment. But then again, if I was a manager, I'd be concerned about me picking the right team at the right moment. So let's just wait and see, eh?
Yeah. But do you think there'll be another incoming, Clive? I'll ask the same to you as well. But do you think someone else is coming in, or do you think it'll just be outs now?
I think there'll be maybe. I think the loan window is a little bit longer, so I don't think we're going to see anything until the EFL Cup settles itself down. Maybe one out if someone demands to go. And Debuchy is the 2-1 favourite, and maybe Chambers will go. But no, I don't see much action now. I think it's about us building on what we have. It's almost as if the season's going to start after international break, which for many of us is 3 games too late. But the pros look at it slightly differently. They look at it as a 58-game season, and that's what we want to play. So they're thinking, well, we're 5 points behind, so what? We beat Chelsea at home, Manchester Derby on the 10th. We're back 2 points. But as a fan, you're thinking, come on, mate. This is Why don't we win on the open day of the season? You know, it looks a bit unprofessional, but we just got to grin and bear it, right? I hope we improve.
Yeah. So you're saying probably an outgoing, right? Come on, give me some. Oh yeah, we're definitely getting a Lewandowski. Come on,
mate. I'll tell you something.
Talk to me, mate.
I reckon. You see, a week ago, if you had told me, what do I think? I'd have been, we have to do this. We have to get this madness or whatever. We have to play this. And now, it's crazy, and I don't know why I'm believing it, but I like our squad. I like looking at our squad. I like our options. I do think, though, if something becomes available, and things, like Clive said, things happen very fast in football. And I think, obviously, looking at the Ozil deal and the Sanchez deal, they were knock-on deals. And if something big happens in the last few days of the window, you never know. And Wenger's always said, and the club have said, if something becomes available, there's a possibility that we could do it. And who it could be or what it could be, I don't know. But imagine if we did get one, just the lift it would give everyone again. Like, I mean, compared to last week, talking on that pod last week, it was Groundhog Day. We were demoralised, and even the most positive people, we were so down, and it weren't really nice to talk about. And after the Liverpool game, you know, it was really tough. And after what we witnessed, the result, the way we played, the options, we know the squad depth, we know we've got players coming back. Another signing would be the cherry on the top of the cake, mate. And if it does happen, then I'll tell you what.
I don't know. From the start of the summer, I always was saying to myself, I just see Daniel Sturridge, and I didn't know why. I just was like, he just comes across as a player that I think Wenger would love to have, and the others would love to have him here. And today, the rumours again, like, you know, you don't believe all of them because they, you know, it's just like they just chuck a player out there, didn't they, all the time. But there was a lot of Sturridge stuff today that I was reading, and I'm like, I don't know why, like, last hour or last 2 hours. Just, do we really need him though? That's what I'm thinking. Do we need him? But he's just the sort of player I'm thinking that he'd be like, I'd rather him not go to someone else. I'd rather have him with us.
Yeah, I think with him it's just fitness. I think I don't think he's making as much runs as he used to in the Suarez days. He used to run beyond a lot more. He seems to look after his hamstrings a lot, and he's quite static. Gets the ball to feet. He's got a couple of tricks. He moves off the spot, but he's just not mobile enough. And Liverpool have filled themselves with mobile runners that run channels. And look at Firmino, and look at Wijnaldum, and look at Coutinho. These guys could move, right? And Sturridge actually slows them down. The team has developed away from him. I don't see it at all. If I've got my FIFA 17 head on, right, the player that I would love at Arsenal, we've got no room for him, and we haven't got room in the squad. We have to sell someone to buy him. Is Julian Draxler. He's the player that I would like to get before he becomes unaffordable. And that's my FIFA head on. Don't know what we do. We'd have to upgrade someone. We have to sell a couple to afford him. But I just love how he plays, and it's quite interesting reading Mustafi's comments today. How sort of well thought of Arsenal are in Germany. We had a few German players come through our team. I like us to keep doing that. I don't think there's any harm in fleecing the world champions, right? So he's the one that will stand out for me. If I could have a 5-minute dream, that's the only one.
Yeah,
got me excited.
We'd all be cheerful at that. I don't know. I still just think there's going to be someone. It could just be another, like, you know, sort of squaddy type player, like you said. If all right, Debuchy might have an injury, but I've got a feeling, injury or not, I think he wants to get out because he's got no looking at the France squad now, has he? It's going to take him quite a bit of time to get back into that. So I think he'll want to go somewhere.
Yeah, he needs to play. He deserves to play, and it's just sometimes he was very unlucky with his injuries. Very unlucky. Yeah. He was playing really well. There's no issues with him. He's got himself badly injured, and we
was that when that was it that roughed him up?
Yeah, that was disgraceful. Yeah. Absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, roughed him up. Yeah,
and everyone just ignores it because he's off the pitch. It just takes him out of his football career for 3-4 months. It's like. But then we found this 19-year-old whippy out of nowhere, right? He's the best right back in the league. So sometimes things just happen. But I think he must be thinking, what have I done to deserve this? I never saw this coming. We lose Sagna. He comes in, decent price, 80 grand a week, bang, there you go. I'm in a Champions League team. And then he gets injured and he just can't play, just doesn't play any football, doesn't go to his home tournament. And life ain't so great, right? So that's how it can change.
Very, very true. Well, I'll wrap it up there. So I want to say thank you to you both. So thank you, Clive.
Thank you. I loved it.
Thank you, Woz, as well.
So much more positive than it was.
Mate,
it's just amazing what two players can do.
Yeah,
I just feel like a new man, mate. I feel like a new man. I feel revitalised. I'm not 100% convinced yet, and I'll take everything in my stride, but do you know what? I started enjoying my football again at the weekend, and I've certainly enjoyed talking about it tonight, and cheers for having us, JJ.
Oh, no worries. Thank you, guys. And you'll probably, like I said, you'll be congregating midweek, so look forward to that. They're always brilliant listens with the four of you when you're on form. It's great, and hopefully we'll be talking about the old new signing, hopefully.
Yeah, too.
Yeah. No worries. Well, thank you all again. Thanks for listening, and like us on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, give it a like as well. If you want to share it out. That's great. We're on Stitcher, SoundCloud, basically wherever you find us, wherever you listen to us. Thanks again, and hopefully you'll come back midweek. Take care. Thank you very much. Bye bye.